Today we talking about parenting. I'm the proud mother of young adults. They're now, Little's going to be 19 and Isaiah is 23.
Wow.
He just turned 23.
Wow.
And just kind of like reflecting back on the different phases of growth. Like at the beginning, it felt like they would never ever become independent. And even when they became independent in these very small ways, they needed you so much and consumed so much of our time, you know?
Right.
But now it's like I have adult-sized children.
Kids.
Who can do stuff with me. You know what I mean? Like we go on vacation. I don't have to like micromanage their time. This guy's off in the museum on his own. She's doing her own thing. And you know, it's a very different space, you know? And getting to this space is just kind of like, it's been so much work to kind of build these, because at the end of the day, I think our goal is to make nice people.
Yeah.
People that you like,
My mom
people
says
that
that
you
all
can
the
kind of
time.
be around, you know what I'm saying? People that, and you know, I've been just kind of in preparation to talk about this, trying to reflect on what was that thing for me. And I think if I have to be completely honest, number one, there's been constant prayer throughout the entire journey.
Amen.
Because I've always felt insecure about making the right decision. Like for my life, for me individually as my own person, I'm that spontaneous, I'm moving. When I make a decision about something, I'm concrete, I believe it, and I make it happen. But when now choosing for my children, it wasn't, you don't have that same level of confidence. You know what I'm saying? Because you got this whole human being who you're trying to mold, and you're constantly second guessing yourself. But you just, through trial and error, you begin to kind of like build that confidence. But I want to say that if there was one thing that was consistent, it was always insisting that my kids try different things. Like I remember my neighbor one day coming over to me and she was like, "So you don't let your kids stay home?" And I was like, "What?" I'm thinking that, like I should leave them home by themselves. Like, what are you talking about? She was like, "No." She's like, every day they're leaving. Like they come home from school, then after a few minutes, you're taking them back out somewhere. Like where are they going all the time? On the weekends, they don't get to sit home in the house. You're at the top of the morning, they're out. And I was just like, I have my kids in all kinds of extracurricular activities, whether it was dance, whether it was karate, whether it was soccer. I remember at one point I put Isaiah in football.
Oh, wow.
And yeah. And
how long did that last?
That didn't last very long. Because Isaiah's very tall.
Shout out
He's
Zay.
very, very skinny. But he grew so fast. It was just like, one day he was at 8, and the next day he was wearing a size 11. And I was just like, yo, bro, like you're not gonna be doofy. Like we need to put you in something that's gonna give you body conditioning because you need to understand how to move with all these limbs. Man, I was driving around football fields like, I have a son. Listen.
Everything you're saying is so fascinating to me because it's literally like hearing my mother talk.
Wow.
Like when I say everything, I can go backwards. My mother was insistent upon, I was 6'1.5" in the 8th grade. And by the end of 8th grade year, I was 6'2". My mother was like, she's like, there's nothing worse than a goofy ass, big, tall man. She was just like, if you walk in a room and you command presence. So she had me in sports for hand-eye coordination.
Right.
Because I was just limbs.
Right.
Just, you know what I'm saying? Everywhere, right? But the intentionality of what you're describing.
Right.
Just even when you said, my mom's thing was like, my goal was to build good people.
Right.
That was like my one goal for my children.
Right.
And the way that she was just intentional about keeping myself and my sister in different activities, it's so eerie to me.
Right.
Because it's like literally play by play.
That's crazy.
My question is, when did you realize that you could have fun with your kids as adults?
I don't know. It's just, it's seeing how because they know me best. Like, they know me better than anybody else because they see me in the house. They see me in my true person. The person that I present versus the person that I am, or even the person that I know myself to be, they know a different version of me, And it's when they call me out on my shit and I be like they got all the words. My mom, you're gaslighting me. I don't even know what that means. Don't say this. Isaiah used to get open chest for this nonsense. And he used to be like, so you just gonna come in here and say dessert? And I would just open chest on him just to make him strong. You know what I'm saying? But it was me, I was just challenging him. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? They were nice people. And just like being able to have real jokes with them, they double team me. because they have a very good relationship. You know what I'm saying?
I actually feel bad for her kids sometimes because
My kids like me.
G thinks she outside, so but she knows how to use social. Like a lot of parents don't really know, and they don't really be social media heavy. But G, she outside, she's in the car on the stories, listening to Pop Smoke.
Nah.
And
It's because of them.
And I'll be like, oh,
They be putting me on.
her poor children. Her poor children. Funny story though, this is a real story. And it just shows like the type of children that G raised. This is true. This happened. This was like literally like 6 years ago, 2016, somewhere around there, maybe 17. I think it was 2016.
Yeah.
There was an event that I was speaking at, and it happened to be sponsored by Pepsi. And
Oh yeah.
and Gloria, I think I invited Gloria, but then I was like, yo, if Isaiah wants to come, it's fine. And then Isaiah and Lola, her two children, they remind me of me and my sisters a lot. And so I have a really deep affinity for them. So she drops them off. At the time, how old was Isaiah? Like,
Oh man, I think he was at least a sophomore in
yeah,
high
he's
school.
like maybe 15 years old ish. And Lola is like just young and sweet and nice, kind of like just very quiet, happy-go-lucky, reserved. So it's a bunch of grown people, and we're on this panel, and this is a nice event, whatever. And I forget what the conversation was about, but it was sponsored by like, I think it was Life Water or something like that. It was like the water division of Pepsi. And I get off the stage, and I'm making sure there's alcohol being served and all of that, and all adults. So I'm making sure that they're okay. Like I got my eyes on them because G trusted me with her kids. So I'm like, I go up. I'm like, yo, so what you guys think? This Isaiah goes into like, I shit you not, like a 4-minute diatribe about Pepsi as a global conglomerate and how dare they get up here and spread this propaganda about healthy living and given what they do in communities. And I was like, and Lola's just standing there like, yeah, this is my brother. So I was just like,
Whatever he says is right.
right. And I was just like, okay. All right.
Do we leave now?
Yeah. Right. I was like, so you didn't like it. I wasn't really sure. But I was just, from that point, I realized what struck me was the type of people that you were building, the type of thinkers you were building, because it reminded me, not in that way, but just in the willingness to just freely express themselves in a space and actually not just be happy to be there, but to actually take in and process what you were doing.
And think
it
critically.
reminded me a lot of what my mom made my sister and me do at that age. So I fucks with it. And I was like, they good anytime.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's just, look, at the end of the day, all I can say is, we get them for a little bit of time. And the time that you get them for, you got to love them and enjoy them and expose them to as much as you can and force them sometimes. Like, I hate kids that be like, I don't like this. Did you eat it? Have you tried it? And I think that's, as a parent, just constantly exposing them to different stuff, whether they like it or not. Let them find out they don't like it after they've tried it. Don't just make that decision off of what you think or what you heard. You know what I mean? And I mean, and I think that goes for us too. You know what I'm saying? When we keep that mantra in our own life as adults, we live more dynamic lives than getting stuck on stupid on, I only do these 3 things. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna judge you on your
watch
costume.
Family Matters.